everybody. I hope everybody is having a good week so far. Tomorrow will be Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody has like a safe Thanksgiving and a happy time. And oh, hi Batman. Oh, he decided to jump up here. Hi. What are you doing? I guess he wanted to say hi. Not your butt in my face. Batman, right here. Batman, come here. Look up there. Look. Batman, look up there. No, up here. Look. Okay. So anyways, thank you all for joining me. And Batman. How you doing, handsome? Hi. He's my handsome boy. Aren't ya? Okay, so we are going to be reading chapters 41 and 42 from Awakened Evil. So, I'm sure some of you are probably busy right now with family and stuff, or some of you are probably preparing for tomorrow. So I just wanted to do another live reading of Awakened Evil. Right, Batman? And this chapter is I think it's from Madison's point of view. Let me see. Yeah, so we were in Madison's point of view, and then we were in Inga's point of view, and now we are going to be reading from Madison's point of view, and I'm loving her character. I love her character. Right, Batman? Okay, sorry. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Hi. Hi, handsome. He is so beautiful. He's the pretty boy. You're the pretty boy. Are you handsome? Are you handsome? Okay. Chapter 41 from Awakened Evil. Oh, Lord. Okay. Minutes later, Richie stopped at a gas station not too far away from the town. He parked the truck and got out. Madison opened the door and closed it, then walked around to the other side. Richie opened the gas cap and placed the nozzle in the tank. I'm going to get some water. Do you want anything? Juice. I want juice, Johanna said from the back seat. Richie, I want juice. I have a couple 5s and 10s in the coffee holder. Madison climbed in and grabbed a tin. I want grapefruit, Johanna said. Okay. She climbed back out and saw Richie staring at her with a smirk. What? As if she already didn't know. Nothing. He looked back at the numbers, then glanced at her one more time. Madison shook her head and walked across the parking area and went into the gas station. To her left was the counter where the cashiers were. Good afternoon, the blonde-head said with a big smile that couldn't be missed. Her hair was long with purple and blue mixed in it. Madison stopped and smiled at her. Hello, do you have any juice for little kids by chance? Yes, ma'am, she pointed past her. Last row in the far back. Thank you. She walked past the first aisle that had all kinds of sugar candy. Johanna did not need that. Aisle 2 was coffee and energy snack bars. She wasn't old enough to drink that anyways. Aisle 3 was chips and coffee and chocolate candy. Nope, she didn't need that either. She stopped to the last row, and to her far right, there was the Subway counter and fresh baked pizza. The pop machines were next to it. Once she got to the far back, she stood in front of the glass door, staring at all the different types of juices. There was that many. Wow. She didn't even remember all this when she was a kid. She opened the door and grabbed the grapefruit and stared at it. Dad always used to stop before each game and bought her favorite juice, orange or strawberry, but they hardly ever had strawberry. She got orange juice most of the time. Johanna, Richie screamed. Madison gasped and turned around. She dropped the juice and ran past the front counter and across the parking lot. Richie was in the middle of the street yelling for Johanna. She looked in the back seat and the car was empty. A sick feeling grew heavy in her stomach and she leaned to the truck. What happened? Richie ran back over as if he didn't see or hear her. He looked in the car seat one more time, then hit the door with his fist. She touched his shoulder. Richie! He stopped and looked at her. His eyes were watery and his face was pale. Little lines of sweat traced past his eyes. She's gone. I didn't hear her get out. Did you see what way she went? No. There is no way she got out of the truck unless someone helped her. She can't get down by herself. She has to have help. Madison looked up and saw a security camera as Richie continued to call out for Johanna. She shook his shoulder and pointed. Richie, look, a camera. Maybe it will show where she went. Richie looked and then ran into the gas station. Madison hurried behind. He flew one door open, catching a couple of customers' attention, including the cashier. What's wrong, sir? Where's your video footage? Why? My little sister is gone. I don't know where she's at. The cashier turned the camera towards them. Rewind it. She grabbed the remote and went to recordings and rewinded it, then pressed play. Madison stood there and watched the video play back. It showed her walking into the store. Richie was on the other side pumping the gas. Within seconds, a white orb floated around the truck on Johanna's side. Her little tiny hand was out the window, trying to grab it. Richie watched it tensely, with both hands on the counter, knuckles white. The door opened and Johanna slowly climbed down as if she was being helped. Her chest heaved and both hands formed tears. Is this real? Am I really seeing her climb down with help? Who's helping her? Both legs about buckled, Johanna ran down the side of the road as if she was chasing something. Richie in the video had no idea, with his back to the truck, pulling out his debit card and then swiping it. No cars drove by either, which was odd for this time of day. Richie ran outside and Madison followed behind. She climbed in the passenger seat and buckled the seatbelt. Richie spun out of the parking lot and down the direction Johanna had went. Her chest grew heavy to the thought of Johanna scared and all alone. Please, God, let her be okay. Please. Look, a gravel road. Maybe she went down that way. Richie turned the steering wheel so hard the back of this truck did a quick jerk, picking up dirt and dust. Madison gripped the door handle, pressing both legs together and curling her toes. She realized this road was familiar. She yelled, "Stop." Richie slammed on the brakes. What? Do you see her? He looked both ways. What, Madison, what? Doesn't this road look similar to you? We were just here at the witch's house. She looked forward, and there it was, the opening. Madison got out, ran over, and stopped. She stared at it and thought of all the horrible things that might happen to Johanna. Was she dead already? Did she get trapped? Are we going to find her dead somewhere? So many things went through her mind, but she knew it wouldn't stop her from finding Johanna. A few birds shot from a tree, startling Madison. She looked up, and they flew into the sky. Madison, why would she come here? She didn't answer and took off running into the woods, hearing Richie behind her. Dried leaves crunched under her shoes, and countless trees laid on the ground. Please don't be there. Please be somewhere else. Please be somewhere safe. Twigs snapped and long branches scraped at her ankles. Madison, please stop. Soil and leaves drifted past her nose. She came to a stop in front of the opening. Something was there. She stepped closer and saw what it was. Johanna's doll. Madison pulled the leaves away and glanced at Richie. Richie took it and looked around. Let's keep looking. She has to be here. She has to be near here. They both stayed close by each other so they wouldn't get lost. Johanna was nowhere to be seen. She was either hiding or lost, or maybe their biggest nightmare had already happened. A voice called out for Johanna. It wasn't familiar. It was different. Madison. She held a hand to her lips. Shh. What? Richie whispered back. She gripped his arm. Do you hear that? Madison followed the voice. Richie followed. He was so close he gripped her hip, and his chest brushed her back. She kept her eyes open for any signs of Johanna. They walked that scene for hours until they came face to face with the house. Madison gasped and knelt down behind a bush. The wind blew the leaves along the ground. The woods had a silent, eerie feeling. It was the same feeling she had when she first came here with Richie and the boys. Richie clasped his hand over her mouth and whispered, shh. He wrapped his other arm around her wrist. Desperate to pull away from the safety of Richie's arms and run to save her, she held her position and gripped Richie's hand over her mouth. She stared blankly at Johanna. Johanna stood on the deck in front of the door. She didn't move or speak. Is she okay? Is she still breathing? What's going on? The door creaked open in front of her. Come in, my child. I've been waiting for ye. A sick feeling consumed her. She pulled Richie's hand from her mouth. Oh, God, you have to do something. Stay here. Richie ran towards the house. She held both hands to her mouth as tears filled her eyes. Richie can make it, please, God. Johanna took a step forward and reached towards a transparent hand. Johanna, no, Richie yelled. Don't go with her. Madison couldn't just stand here and watch. Something had to be done. She ran towards the cabin, and once she was close enough, she grabbed Richie's arm, just as he grabbed Johanna's hand. The transparent hand gripped Johanna and yanked them all in like a long piece of rope. Madison fell forward, slamming against the hard wooden floor. The sound of the door slammed shut. She lifted her head and saw a blunted mist so thick it couldn't not be seen through. Richie and Johanna weren't there. The windows were covered with wood. A light on the other side showed as if it couldn't find its way in. She stood and looked around the room. "Richie," she said as her voice echoed through the room as if she were in a deep cannon. A voice could be heard from a distance. "Come, my child, come." It had to be a witch. It wasn't Richie or Johanna. "Johanna, no," Richie yelled. "Don't listen to her. Where are you?" Madison stopped and looked for him. He was near, but where? The fog stretched up the floorboards and formed into a shape of a person. So thick and heavy, it stood there as if it was frozen in time. "Richie." "Madison?" She followed his voice to the staircase. The fog cleared for only a few seconds as he came down the steps and wrapped both arms around her. "Where did you go?" she asked. "I don't know. I woke up and you were gone." A light flickered from a room that had big, heavy curtains. They both walked over to the room and stopped. Richie pulled the curtain back as Madison stepped through behind him. Johanna's little body laid in the middle of a pentagram. Madison felt a deep heaviness in her chest. Images of Johanna laying in a casket and being lowered in the ground played like a slideshow. Tears swelled her eyes. "Are we too late?" Richie ran over as Madison followed. She came to a stop and let out a small scream. Johanna's eyes were a solid white. Her body limp and she was pale. He lifted her up into his arms. She wasn't responsive or talking. Madison touched her cold hand. "Johanna," he said, with his hand on her forehead. "Please come back. Please. Wake up. Don't leave us." He leaned his head to her mouth, and she wasn't breathing. He laid her back down and did CPR. "Johanna, come on. Don't let the witch give in. Hear my voice." With Johanna being so small, Madison was afraid her chest bone would break. But it had to be done. Johanna's eyes popped open, and all the color in her eyes grew back to normal. Richie held her close as she coughed a few times. He got to his feet and ran for the door, Madison behind him. He grabbed the latch, but it wouldn't open. It was either locked or sealed shut. He kicked the door, holding Johanna in his arms. Madison glanced over her shoulder and saw the two little girls she had been seeing. She swallowed and shook Richie's shoulder. "Richie, look." Madison pointed as Richie turned around, holding Johanna close. "I saw them up in the attic." Through the dense fog, like children from short to tall appeared. They were a gray color with sadness on their faces. The room was now filled with at least 20 of them. Some were solid and some were transparent. "We're trapped," a little boy said. "Help us," a little girl sobbed. 3 of the children disappeared as if they were scared, and the rest evaporated like smoke. A tall demon with black sharp horns on his head and shoulders appeared. It walked right through the 2 little girls, forcing them to disappear. Madison spun around and pulled on the door latch. It wouldn't open. A cackle filled the room as she swung back around. A red mass formed right in front of her, before her. With the pounding in her chest, she couldn't catch each rapid burning breath. It formed into a woman. The same woman she saw upstairs. the woman from her nightmares. It had to be the witch from the house she was standing in. It had to be the witch from the house she was standing in. Both eyes glowed a bright green and blue. Something long and black slithered along the floorboards towards them. She took a step back until it wrapped around Johanna's leg and yanked her right out of Richie's arms. Her little body hit the floor as she screamed, reaching for Richie's hand. "Richie," she cried. The laugh echoed the room as the demon disappeared. "She's mine, boy," the witch called out. The sound of her laughter crept down Madison's spine. Richie grabbed Johanna's hand and held on. Madison wrapped both arms around her tiny legs. Johanna screamed with tears rushing down. "You can't have her, witch. Let her go," Richie yelled. The black thing loosened from her and slithered back in the direction it came. "Give me that child, boy. Her soul shall be mine, just like the others." "No!" Richie held her tight in his arms and shook his head. "You have to come through me first." "Deal," the woman grinned, and then bolted through the thick vapor as it curled. She knocked Richie across the floor as her creepy screech echoed the room. Johanna's body fell to the floor. Richie was shoved up against the wall as the witch appeared. She gripped his neck tight as his face turned red. His whole body stiffened. "No," Madison screamed. "Let me go, you stupid hag." The witch turned and stared right at her. She let Richie go and walked her direction. Richie fell to the floor and clutched at his throat. All the color had returned to his face. He crawled over towards Johanna and stared at Madison. She stood up and pressed her back to the wall. "If you want to hurt somebody, then hurt me, you witch. I'm not afraid of you." The witch tightened her grip around Madison's neck. Madison's skin grew hot and it tingled. She couldn't catch her breath like the time she had choked on a lifesaver when she was 6 years old in kindergarten. "I must finish what I started." "No," Richie yelled. The witch turned her head and stared at Richie. He yelled in pain, grabbing at his chest. The witch stared back at Madison, then grabbed her jaw and forced it open. Something kept Madison from moving. The witch's mouth stretched open. Both eyes glowed a green and a blue. A force knocked the witch backwards as she evaporated into thin air. Madison caught her breath and dropped to the floor. The black smoke was gone and light filled the room as if they were brought back to reality. Did we enter another dimension? A portal or another world of some kind? She lifted her head and saw someone, a woman. She had long blonde hair below the hips. A long white dress stopped to the ankles. A silver strip lined around her hip and along the sleeves to the bottom of the dress. "Belinda, you!" Madison stared at the other witch. "Belinda?" "I have my way and you have your way." Belinda lifted both hands. A force that could not be seen shot from her hands and hit the other witch, forcing her through the wall. "What? Are you okay?" "Hi!" Richie lifted Johanna into his arms and ran out the front door, Madison close behind. Madison opened the door for Richie. After she got in and closed the door, she buckled the seatbelt as Richie backed out and drove down the long gravel road until they reached the highway. Who's Belinda? Richie asked. What? The other witch, right? She's a witch. How am I supposed to know? I never seen her before. I haven't either. Once Richie arrived back at the house, he stopped in the driveway and stared ahead. What do we do? We can't go back in there. Do you have a Bible? Yeah. Bless each room with holy water as you read from it. Why do I have to do it? Why do I have to do it? Madison didn't say anything and stared at him. Okay, fine, I'll do it. You can go back to the hotel. If you want me to stay, I will. He shook his head, gripping the steering wheel. He always done that if he was nervous or scared about doing something. No, I'll be fine. I feel like I need to stay. No, I can do it. Okay, she leaned over and kissed his cheek. Call me if you need it, if you need something. Okay, bye, Johanna, bye. Oh my goodness, Batman. Okay. Whew. She got in her car and headed back to the hotel. Once she arrived and turned into the parking lot, she went into the hotel and pulled a key out. The door opened as she looked up. Her mom stood there next to the suitcases. What's going on? Detective McLean was just here. We can go back to the home now. To the home? Hi, Batman. Hi. Okay. Madison paused. She didn't think it was a good idea, but her mom was already all ready to go. Madison helped load the suitcases in the truck and place the blankets in the back seat. Dad always took a favorite one when they stayed at a hotel. It's been a while since she's done that. She followed her mom back to the house. A lot of memories floated around in her mind, the good times and the bad times. Once Madison and her mom arrived in the driveway, Madison parked in Dad's spot and pulled the key out. She carried 2 suitcases in and set them on the couch as her mom went upstairs sobbing. Madison stood there and realized her mom was back where she started. Now that she has returned to the house, she was sad and heartbroken again. She went back out to the car and grabbed 2 suitcases and went upstairs and stopped at the landing by her bedroom door. Her mom laid on the floor where the bed frame was before. She held a picture close. On the back was written Keegan, 11 years old. Madison squeezed her eyes shut to keep the tears back and stepped into her room, then turned the light on. No sign of the witch. The house still had that bad feeling to it. She sat on the edge of the bed and knew she had to cleanse the house to keep the evil away. Oh man, I'm so tired. Ugh. Okay. Before heading to bed and calling it a day, she walked across the hallway into the bathroom between Keegan and her mom's room. She flipped the light on and stopped in front of the sink. She saw Keegan's toothbrush and smiled. She remembered how they both used to jump up onto the sink and brush their teeth when they were little kids. Whatever Keegan did, she did. She always looked up to him when they were younger. Through the night, Madison kept tossing and turning. There wasn't an easier way to get to sleep. She turned on her side, facing the wall. She even curled up in a ball, but that didn't work either. She released a breath and stared at the ceiling. Right across the hall, she heard Mom sobbing and sniffing back her tears. She closed her eyes and said a little prayer. Please be with my mom, God. Please take her sadness away and fill her heart with your love. Okay, chapter 42. Inga stood there outside on the porch and stared at the clearing. Belinda has given me power. She looked at her hands and smiled. I feel more alive now that I have hers. She turned around and walked back into the cabin and stopped by the cauldron. But then she thought about Olivia's boyfriend, Tyler. Inga looked over at Peter, Mark, and Joseph as they stood there side by side. She stared at the wicked curse mark on his chest. She lifted a hand and touched it. Of course, why not make another one? She grinned. She grinned at Peter and stepped back. I could use another one of you. I do only have 3 of you. Yes, more of us, Mark said. I can make another dark force like you to replace George, just like what I did to Belinda's husband and Suzanne and Edith's husband for getting in my way. She thought back to the day Belinda's husband Peter, who was now a dark force in her evil works. He came in her home unexpected and uninvited. She put a curse on him to roam the earth as a demon slave until she dies. I can take all of the souls I want with the help of my mysticals. How, Master, without a spell book? With the powers that I have taken from Belinda when we fought. But we can help. There's not enough of you. She turned around and smiled. I need more help from the underground. Dun dun dun. Oh my gosh, that sounds even more better. So now I think you guys can probably get a little hint from this one. So I left a lot of clues in Inga's chapter to this one. So I am like so excited. I didn't want, like when I wrote this chapter, I did not want to put like too much information in, but from Inga's point of view, she does talk about the past and like how things started. I didn't want to do that in The Wish. So I started doing it in Awakened Evil, and I was trying to do like little hints from here and there that would be Wicked Curse. It would be from this book. That's what I try to do like with each book. So like with The Wish, I did leave a few. Okay, so like in The Wish, I mentioned Eleanor and Margaret. Well, in this one, you guys meet her. You guys meet them or see them. Well, then, the Wicked Curse spell, Inga finally says, well, I can use one more of you. So Wicked Curse, the 3rd book, and yes, there is a reason why there's mist in the vial on the front of this cover, and I just love this cover. Oh my gosh. But the hardback that I'm doing for Wicked Curse, oh my gosh, it is going to be amazing. I think I'm going to probably release the hardbacks maybe the beginning of next year. I'm not really sure. I'm still working on it. So, I gotta stop yawning. So in Wicked Curse, I mentioned a few things that will lead to Mystical, which is the last and final book in the series. And there is also another reason why there's a pentagram in a moon, which when I was like making this cover, I did not know what like I knew I wanted the moon and the pentagram like on the front like this, so it kind of looks like it's moving over the eclipse. I knew I wanted that, but I just didn't know like how to do it, I guess. And then this vial here is actually one of the main things that, anyways, I just I'm so excited to read this one because I don't think, yeah, we get introduced to like I think like 2 or 3 new characters, I think, in this book. So but this is how much we have. I think I did this in the last video, but right here, that's how much we have right there. And I am really, really excited to get more further into the book, because right now we're just setting up. Like, we're just trying to figure out why this is all happening. And now Madison's like, oh my god, Witch killed my brother. And now Richie's brother is dead, and Keegan and Terrence are showing themselves to Gina, and Gina is like having these visions, and she doesn't like know who this person is that she's seen. And then Johanna is like Richie's little sister, who is 6. She's like talking to a little boy named Henry, and Henry is Olivia's ancestor. Olivia is in college, and she has a boyfriend named Tyler. And Olivia is like, she keeps seeing these 2 dead boys, Keegan and Terrence, and she has like no clue who they are, and she doesn't know where they come from. And at first she thought maybe they were ancestors, and you know, she's dating Tyler, who has a hidden secret of his own. Oh my gosh, whew, I just told you the whole novel of Wicked Curse. Wow. And Inga, I don't want to forget about Inga, she has plans for Tyler now. That was a lot. Sometimes people ask me, like, what's Wicked Curse, what's Awakened Evil about? And I'm just like, oh man, where do I even begin? Because what I just told you is the book. So I have to like think like really fast and try to figure out. Well, my main character Olivia goes to college, and she sees 2 dead boys, and she doesn't know who they are. And then my other main character, Madison, comes back from rehab because she has anger problems and depression. Her brother Keegan gets killed mysteriously. It was called a homicide, and like that's just a lot. I could just tell people that, but that's just like a lot going on in this book, and that's why it's so thick. See how thick that is? Right there. That's thick. So, anyways, what's the next chapter? So I think I just summed up Awakened Evil for you guys. So this Friday, a day after Thanksgiving, I will probably read at 7. I don't know, I think I said I was going to read at 4, but I was like, so this week has been like really, really busy for me because I was up at the flower shop from Monday to today, which is Wednesday. And I was in the basement with a friend, Marley. She works up there too, and because she's back from college. So we were both down there, like, working and cleaning stuff up. And then I was down there Tuesday too. And then today, I was down there too because I was trying to just get things cleaned up and organized. And oh my gosh, my feet hurt and my legs hurt because I was carrying heavy stuff up and down the stairs. I do need to finish, like, sweeping and stuff, so I've been doing a lot of organizing and cleaning at the flower shop because I have been getting a little bit of writer's block, which I think I might have solved the problem. So, as some of you know, I do have a middle grade book. It's called Guardian, and I actually can read. I have a book over here because why do I have it over here? Oh, because I'm working on the second book, Metamorphosis, in the Sordid Realm series, and I had to go back to a few chapters and read it and be like, wait a minute, what happened in that chapter? Because, like, I don't know this book word for word or even chapter by chapter. Like, if you ask me what's chapter 33 about, oh, that's my age. That is so weird. I opened the page to my real age, 33. That's weird. If you ask me what's chapter 33 about, I don't know. Let's go to it. 33, 32. What is chapter 30? See, I don't know what chapter 33 is about. Looking up towards the sky at the large moon, so gigantic and bright. Oh, I remember. Okay, see? This is how I remember. So my character, Shane, who is a wizard, between the realm, he has a magic shop between the realm. So in chapter 33, he is between the realm, and he sees a star. And that's another main character in this book, which is her name is Star, Starr. But anyways, I'm losing the point here. So I've been working on the second novel to this one here. So this is book 1. So I can just go ahead if you're interested. If you have a teenager that loves fantasy and adventure, this is definitely the book. So I will just read the blurb to you for Guardian. And I love the cover, by the way. I love it. See? Okay, so this is the blurb. Moving into a new house was supposed to be a fresh start and make new memories. 13-year-old Trixie McPalmer has mixed feelings about the new house. It doesn't feel normal, like the others across the street. What she doesn't know is that the basement has its own story to tell. Something magical and mysterious dwells deep in the rabbit hole. Meanwhile, between the realms, Shane, the magic shop owner, must go find Crystal, who will give the gemstone to Trixie. Tristan, Shane's twin brother, is led by the voice of an evil sorcerer, Elias, who wants to find the next guardian that has the gemstone, and to also collect the sword that will make him the top ruler of the realms. Woo! So, this book is actually it's 306 pages. So anyways, I'm getting really tired. I don't know what time it is. But anyways, that is it for today. Well, tonight. So I will read chapters 43. Let's see. 43. This chapter is really short. I think I'm reading 43 and 44 Friday. Maybe. Let's look. Shall we? Let's look. Oh, that's 22. Okay. Oh, okay, so... No, I guess I'm reading just chapter 43. I don't know why I just don't read chapter... Well, hold on, never mind. Okay. Alright, so this Friday I'll be reading chapters 43, so... And I hope you guys have a nice, safe trip and Thanksgiving. And I will too. So until then, I will see you guys Friday. God bless and have a great Thanksgiving. I will see you guys soon.